Yeah, this is great. Unfortunately, I cannot link this either. Hi everyone, this is Sophia and welcome to a new video. Today we're talking about my January through June favorites. I usually only do like a yearly favorites, but I was looking at my list and it was getting kind of long. So I was like, you know what, let's just split it up so then I can kind of just focus on my favorites from the first half of the year, and then at the end of the year I can do my favorites from July through December. So we have a lot of categories. We have some fashion, some beauty, some home obviously, and then we have TVs and movies, music, and was there another category? And books. Every category will be timestamped in the timeline and in the description box. So if you're only interested in a particular section, feel free to skip around. And some of these products I don't even have to show you, so I'm just gonna like scoot over so there's a little blank wall here so then I can insert whatever I'm talking about. Let's get into beauty. One of the things that I discovered this year was the Biore Aqua sunscreen. That sunscreen is my new holy grail. Then the other one is right here. The perfume I got at duty free in CDG airport. I obviously bought multiple perfumes when I was in Paris, but that is the only one that I'm like really reluctant to use, but that I almost always want to use it. It smells so good, very luxurious. I just know that as soon as that bottle's over, I'm gonna have to repurchase a new one because I really like it. So those are the only beauty favorites. Now let's move on to fashion. So the very first thing is right in front of me. They are the studs that I purchased at CDG airport as well. These are from Hermes. They don't feel super heavy on the ear, but they do have a little bit of weight. They're not so heavy to the point where I cannot stand wearing them. I have stopped almost exclusively wearing my Click H studs because of these. These are just gorgeous. I actually really want more of them. Another fashion favorite are my Salomon sneakers. Exclusively purchased these for my trip to Paris, and even my husband noticed that when I was wearing these, I really rarely complained that my feet were in pain. Of course it was sore, but pain, that's a whole different story, and so he really credits like these shoes, these sneakers with that, and I love them so much. I want to get them in a black. The other fashion favorite is my La Mer medium croissant bag. My first impression video of this bag is going to be the video after this one actually, so if you're interested, definitely stay tuned. This bag has basically not left my side. So that is it for fashion. Now let's do home. So the very first thing is these green glasses. I mean, right now they're not that great because I'm drinking coffee. I love these, and it does make me want to thrift more glassware because they're just so unique. The other glassware I really love are these Kinto beer glasses. Really love the way these feel. These are really light, but they feel sturdy at the same time. Next is my Hermes H Deco mug in the white. I obviously have this in a black and I love it. I loved it so much I had to get the pair, and I love the white one just as much as the black one. That is it for basically like cups. Now let's talk really quickly about a bowl. This is from Kinto. Essentially, my husband and I have been trying to find like a good ramen or soup bowl where it's like deep enough to comfortably hold soup but not super huge and not super wide. When we went to Kinto and I saw this and I was like, ooh, I really like this. And this is not sponsored. I just really love the brand. And then the last thing that I can show you while I'm sitting here before we go into like cutaways is this back scratcher that my husband got when he was in Vietnam. Surprisingly, I really love this. It's just so good. It just really gets at every spot you need it to. Another home good that we purchased somewhat recently, but I love it so much that I'm just going to include it in this list, and that is the IKEA media console. The more I look at it, the more I love it. Super soft wood, can really fit everything I need it to fit. It also fit our space perfectly. The next home thing that I really love is actually right under it, which is the Snow Peak cushions. This is one of those items that I was completely influenced by social media by. If you're interested to see like items I purchased from being influenced on social media and whether or not they're worth it, let me know. Maybe I'll do like that video like later down in the year. I really loved the vibe of the cushions they gave off when I saw them on the internet, but I didn't know how comfortable they would be. And so being that we're in New York, there is a Snow Peak location in Williamsburg. So we went to actually go try it out and I sat on it. So comfortable. I love that you can like fold it in half to even give you more height and more cushion, but even just the one layer is so comfortable. And then the last home thing is right next to the media console, and that is I think it's the Heller record storage holders. I recently got a set of white ones off Facebook Marketplace. Something I did not know about them is that they can actually latch onto each other. I just really love how simple they are. They don't take up a lot of space. They're also very functional. Now let's move on to books. This is not something that I usually share, but I'm almost exclusively a romance or like self-help book reader. I don't tend to stray from those categories. There are like a few times that I will, but it's really, really rare, and the book has to be really, really rated highly. All the books in this category is basically romance. So the very first one is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I'm sure if you are on Book Talk, you've heard of The Love Hypothesis. That book is still the best book of hers that I've read. That's not part of this list, but I'm just like using that as like a basis. However, Deep End, which I think was released earlier this year, is almost just as good. She recently released another one called Problematic Summer Fling or whatever. That one was meh. The other book I really loved this year was One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. First of all, I'd never heard of the author. I think I found her purely on a whim because this book was just released and was rated so highly. That to me is usually like when my antennas go up. I don't know how to explain it, just really engrossed me. And I really rarely have this feeling when it comes to a novel, especially a romance novel, because I read so much. But I wanted to savor the words on the page. The book deals with like imposter syndrome, your self-worth, and now let's move on to the third and final book, and that is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, which I have right here. So this is not my first Emily Henry book. You know what's funny is that this is like my third or something Emily Henry book, and usually I've liked them enough. Book Lovers is actually one of my favorites. If you're also looking for another Emily Henry book, highly recommend that one. But something about this book, when I first saw that it came out, I just immediately thought, I think I'm gonna want the physical copy of it. My instincts steered me correctly. I did really love this book, and so I'm really happy to have the physical copy of this. This is very similar to One Golden Summer, where I wanted to savor it. I could not actually put it down. I actually had to stop myself from reading it a few times because I was like, I cannot finish this book in like 2 days. One of the things about this book that I really, really love is that I learned something from it. Unicursal labyrinth. When I learned about that, I immediately did research, and just like the more I learned about that labyrinth type, the more this book meant something to me. It's really hard to explain. I just really recommend it. It also goes into like mother-daughter relationships, family drama. It is more than a romance novel, and same for One Golden Summer. Now that we're done with books, let's talk TV and movies, and then there's one podcast, but I'm just gonna lump it in this section. So I'm gonna talk TV first. The first is Blossom, the C-drama. Technically, this started airing in 2024, but it didn't finish airing until 2025, and I didn't finish watching it until 2025. I really love the two main leads. I love the story. I also really love the way the cinematography of the shots. It's just very, very beautiful. And I will say the hallmark of a great drama for me is if I will rewatch it. And I have been since I finished it. So, good sign. The next C-drama is Filter, which is like a modern day kind of fantasy drama. So funny. And also introspective, because it kind of goes into like your own self-worth and how you feel about your own like physical appearance. And then the last TV is a reality TV show, Temptation Island. So messy, I love it. You're like basically putting people in different stages of the relationship in front of temptation. It's like one of those things where it's so funny, and I was watching all the episodes with my husband, and so we would just like pause it and discuss after the episode. We would talk more about it. I feel like it's one of those reality TV where it's like just fun to like have post conversations about, and also introspective for yourself to be like, what do I not want to become? If you're interested in like not watching it though and you just want to recap, highly recommend watching Kenny JD's recap. I'll leave a link to her video in the description box. Now let's talk movies. There's only two. The first is Ne Zha 2. I had never seen part 1. I love the second movie. Even without context, I think it was great to watch on its own, and it didn't really need any context either because it also gives you like a quick preview of the first movie at the beginning, and so you know what you need to know. The second movie is K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix. I knew it was going to be good as soon as I watched the trailer. I do wish it was like 20 or even 15 minutes longer because I feel like sometimes the plot jumped really quickly. The songs are what make the movie amazing. I've been listening to the soundtrack non-stop since I watched it. Your Idol, Takedown, what it sounds like. If you're watching it for any other reason, it's the animation and the soundtrack. Okay, and then the last thing is, like I said, a podcast. It's called Titanic Ship of Dreams. It is just a really in-depth podcast about what happened to the Titanic. It really goes into the way before, like even the start of the construction of the ship, leading up to it, the hiring of the workers, the ship crew members, as well as the aftermath and the trials and everything. And so I really love that. Now let's talk about the last category, which is music. For this category, some of it is albums, some of it is just a single song. And for the ones with the single song, that doesn't mean I didn't like the whole album. It just means that for that particular song, it kind of hit me harder. Okay, so the first thing is the entire album of GOT7's comeback, Winter Heptagon. I could not stop listening to the album. I think my husband was getting annoyed at me. Python is just a great song. I also really loved Out the Door. The other song I really loved is Drama by G-Dragon. Again, I love the whole album, but that particular song, just something about the vocals and the lyrics, I just really loved it. Thunder by 17. I think it's in the album Happy Birthday. It's just a good like K-pop song. I discovered them on a whim because of The 8. I think it was like gaining popularity for like some of his statements in like some idol variety show in China. That led me to 17, and then that led me down like the rabbit hole of their old music, and then that led me to Thunder. The album's great. I actually really love that they each had their own solo in the album. Like, that's really cool. Also really loved Poet Artist by SHINee. I'm a big SHINee girl. They are my OG K-pop group. It might not have been a performance heavy song, but I feel like it still retains the essence of them. And then I recently discovered Nebula by The Roses. I can't believe I never heard of them before. They are a great out rock Korean group. The song Nebula is just so beautiful. Please go listen to it. World as an album is also great, but yeah, Nebula was fantastic. And then the last one by a non-Korean artist is Easy Lover by Miley Cyrus. I love how upbeat it is. The music video was great. Those are all my favorites from January through June. If you have any questions about any of my favorites, please let me know in the comments. And if you have any favorites of your own that you really recommend me to try or see or read or listen to, please let me know in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you next time for another one. Bye guys.
She may be funny, she's changed your broken heart. I'll never be her. Although